Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or welcome if you are new here. My eyebrow's still healing for those of you who watched my last YouTube video. Yeah, she's better. She's better, but she's still healing. Today I'm excited about this topic. And it's jealousy, because I think there's so much that we are jealous of every single day that we probably aren't even aware of, and just hearing what the Bible has to say about that, and hearing just aside from that, how much it affects us, and how to change that outlook and change our mindset, and to be content with ourselves and content with our surroundings. A thought that came to me as I was coming up with this was, if you are changing anything about yourself because of someone else, and not because God has called you to change that, then you're turning yourself, your original version, into a counterfeit. You can take a flower, and it can start as a little seed, or it can start in the ground, right? And you can add water, you can add sunlight, you can add all of these things that provide life to it. And from that little thing, it can grow and change, constantly be changing, but be its natural form and be growing. Or you can take that same seed, and instead of giving it the things that it needs specifically for that flower to grow, you're giving it everything else that you would use for another plant. And that's eventually just going to kill it, and it's not going to produce what it could have been. And the beauty that it has, it's going to look weird, it's going to come out weird, it's probably going to die, and maybe it'll sprout. So the same thing is with us. And God created us as this unique little being, and with what He has given us and the life and all of these things, He is constantly helping us grow and change in the ways that He wants us to, and in the ways that He's called us to still be true to ourselves. If you live in big cities, or just in a small town, but you're on social media, you see so many fake things, especially for girls. Everybody that I'm in my 20s, and people in my 20s, they have Botox in their face already, they have lip injections, they have things for their eyebrows, nose jobs, boob jobs, they have this thing called Facetune, where they totally change their whole body or face when they post a photo. And it's just things that I would never know weren't their natural bodies. I'm seeing wait, that's not how you were created at all. Whereas if I was just looking and scrolling, I would think, oh, that's so natural. And so what that does is it can put this pressure on you to feel like you need to look a certain way or do a certain thing because that it looks right on somebody else. With jealousy too, I kind of wanna break jealousy down and admiration, because there's a huge difference between admiration and jealousy. And you can admire what other people have, and admire their work, the way they look, their family, their relationships, their lifestyle, their job. You can admire that, and you can use that to have a goal of where you might want to go, or have a vision of where you want to see yourself and what you want to work on in yourself. When you are jealous of all of those same things, you are not adding to yourself and creating potential possibilities for you that are going to add to your current worth. When you are jealous, you're actually taking away from all of the things that you currently have, and all the things you're capable of, and all the things you possess. All it does is leave you feeling worthless and anxious and depressed, and like you're not enough, and you're never going to be enough, and that what you have is nothing compared to anybody else. And with admiration, I kind of like to look at it as okay, your glass is half full, and both of them, with admiration and jealousy. With admiration, you can keep pouring into it, and it's going to fill up because you're adding to yourself. With jealousy, that cup, you're taking away from yourself and trying to pour other things into it. And so that is something that's something's always gonna be drained while something's being poured in. When you admire something, you're still going to be filled up and things are going to pour into you. In Proverbs 14:30, it says, "A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot." And that's kind of intense, like saying that envy, like wanting what somebody else has or wanting something that you don't have, literally makes your bones rot. And whether that's literal or just an example, the message is the same, that it is so destructive to your body. So destructive to your body. James 3:14-15, and it says, "But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but it is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic." So that's a pretty heavy emphasis on how bad jealousy is for us. In that scripture in James, it literally calls it demonic. And I 100% agree. The devil has such an opportunity to get into our brains and to get into our hearts when we want something we don't have. At the Garden of Eden, the start of sin, when all of that happened, literally the first sin that was ever created when Eve took that bite of the apple was because the devil made her feel like what she had wasn't enough, and what she wasn't good enough, and that her current knowledge wasn't enough to have a good life. And he tried to deceive her by making her say that if she could have something that wasn't hers, she would be happy and know everything. And that first lie that the enemy used to make her fall into sin, he uses with us every day to try to get into our heads and to try to make us think differently and make us not content with what we have and make us feel like we need something that wasn't meant for us and we need something that isn't ours. God doesn't just leave us with all of that and say good luck, figure it out. No, he's totally there to encourage us. In 1 Corinthians 10:13, it says, "No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man. God is faithful, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide the way of escape, that you may be able to endure it." So if jealousy is a huge temptation for you, know that whether you see it in your life right now or not, God has already provided everything you need in your life to overcome that temptation. And he knows, trust me, he sees you so clearly, and he knows how much that affects you, and he knows, why you're wanting all of these things and why you feel it so deeply. And I just want to let you know, remind you, he is so there, he is with you, and none of that was ever what he wanted you to feel. And I'm sure it's breaking his heart knowing that that's how you feel when you are so precious and your original design was perfect in his eyes. And there's no need to ever feel like you need to change that. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this taught you something new and you learned something new from this. Make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe. I love you guys. Have the most amazing week, and God bless.